Coach Teag and Coach Russ here. We're going to talk about distance today. Almost everybody knows Coach Teag. He's an awesome distance swimmer. He is also good at all the other strokes. And today we're going to be talking about his 500 freestyle. We're going to talk about mental preparedness. We're going to talk about what he does before the race, during the race, after the race, how he strategizes his 500s, all important stuff that the distance swimmers are going to need to know. So before we get started, this is Teag right here. This is another Albright swimmer, right here, and another one in lane 8. So Teag's going to give us a brief history of how he got into swimming and why he's such a great swimmer, and then we're going to watch the video.
So thanks, Russ. As you mentioned, I'm Coach Teag. I've been swimming distance for about 8 years now, and I've been swimming competitively for over 15 years. So I've got a good bit of experience doing both. I picked up distance actually my freshman year of high school when it turned out I was not as fantastic at the backstroke or breaststroke as I would have liked to be, but found out that I'm pretty good at maintaining a constant stroke rate and building endurance. So I worked towards that the last 8 years.
How'd you become a distance swimmer? Like, why'd you choose distance over sprinting? Because I'm a drop-dead sprinter. Anything over a 200, I hate it.
So, well, originally coming into high school and freshman year of high school, my coaches had me doing the 200 freestyle, 100 freestyle, and occasionally backstroke. And I wasn't making too many improvements in that. And one meet we had, I think it was against Milton Hershey. Coach's rule, my high school coach's rule is everyone swims the 500 at least once. And, going into that as a freshman, you're thinking, oh God, I can't. It's a 500. It's so large and daunting. But at the end of it, I finished second and thought, well, I wasn't that tired. That wasn't any worse than the 200. I could make a career out of this. And make a career out of that, I did.
That's where it all started. When I was in college, we had to swim a 1650 once a season. Oh, I don't know how you do it, man. It took me like 45 minutes to get through it. Hated it. I started singing songs to myself. It was boring. Didn't like it.
Well, typically what I do is I pick right before a race, especially the mile, I'm, listening to music and getting myself hyped up. And I have that same song or 2 or 3 songs going in my head during the race. So I know what I'm going to be doing while I'm in the pool. I know I just have to set to autopilot, so to speak. And
autopilot. All right, so let's start watching your race here. This is your 500 at GMAC. And what was your time on this? Did you drop time?
Yeah, this was my lifetime best, 4:38.
Awesome, dude.
Yep, my first time ever being under 4:40.
Jesus Christ, man, under 4:40. That's fast. All right, so this is Teag right here. I'm trying to jump it up and down right now. So right before your 500 or your 1650, what are you usually thinking about? And what are you like focusing on and all that?
So I always make a point to, number one, I mentioned I'm listening to the appropriate music, getting myself psyched up for the race, and I always make sure that if I know anyone else in the race, I try and wish. You can see there in lane 3 is Harry, my other teammate, in lane 8 is Nick, and in lane 6 is Will, all other teammates. I make sure to, high five them, pat them on the back, say, good luck, guys. Let's make this happen. Get in the zone. So once that's done, I know exactly what the spiel they're going through is going to be. So I've planned everything out to the letter, essentially. You'd see me swinging my arms, doing streamline, stretching on the blocks. I love the same stuff every single time. Yeah, I want to be in the same rhythm so that I know that as soon as I can time when the official's going to hit the buzzer, I can be certain when I'm going to hit the water, and I can calculate every single stroke after that. Sounds crazy, but I'm doing that for 20 laps or 66 laps or 20 minutes, however long it takes. But I know where I'm going to be when I'm going to be there.
And you count your strokes, right?
Yep. I start out counting my strokes, so make sure that the first lap is 13 or 14 strokes. And from there, usually that starts to fade around lap 10. I start taking more and more. And stroke rate gets a little bit choppier, but I try never to take too many more than 15 or 16.
This guy looks like he almost fell in.
I always try and lean as far forward as I can.
Look at you. First one off the block, furthest out.
And I always, especially in the 500, I like to try and set the pace for everyone else. You're going to see on my right, Harry is kind of a freak in nature. He likes to take it out as fast as he possibly can.
Harry's on your right or your left?
In lane 3 on my right.
Yeah, this is Harry here, right?
Yep. And he is out way too fast. And I knew that he would be too. I just knew that I had to be on his hip about at the 300. Like coming in here at the 100, I'm like, I can tell, oh, this is probably a 50 point. Harry's probably done a 48, which it's going to hurt him later. I know he's going to be dying, but I know that I'm going to have that little bit of endurance left come 8 laps to go that I need. I just have to stick with Harry right here.
So you know these swimmers, and you know how they strategize their races, so you can pretty much set your pace off some of the other swimmers that you swim next to?
I know very well Harry's, Will's, and Nick's strategy, the other all-right swimmers in the race. I was pretty unfamiliar with Jared Stefan. He's in lane 5. My coach actually told me beforehand that he's going to go all out the very last lap, and I tried to give myself a comfortable little lead going into that because I believe John, and I did not expect this finish. This guy holds pretty consistently 27s and 28s per 50 all the way up until that last 50. And
wow.
When he recognizes he's like a body length or a half body length behind, I can't remember what it is, he takes off. That last 50 is like a 25.
That is insane. A 25 for the last 50 of a 500.
Yeah. And I just try and make all of them reasonably consistent, try and, especially around lap like 13, start building and picking up and dropping down again back into the 27s. But I could not do a 25 that very last 50.
No. So how important is your breathing as you go through this 500?
Especially in the very beginning, that's mostly where my focus is. I know that when I was younger, I liked to take it out as fast as I possibly could, and to do that, I would hold my breath. I'd take like one breath, maybe the first 25, and 2 on the second 25, and then come lap 4, I'm breathing every single stroke, and it's just getting worse and worse. So once I got to college, I recognized, strategizing with my coaches, that I have to take it out a little bit pacier, breathe a bit more often. I start every 4 strokes, so I make sure I get 3 or 4 breaths on the first lap and try and keep that consistent. But again, at the very end of the race, it's all or nothing. I'm breathing pretty heavily and pretty frequently, but I try and make sure that, especially with like 10 or 15 yards to go, I'm at the very end, I'm not breathing at all.
Yeah, look how things have changed here. All 3 of you guys are right in a row now. He really slowed down. And you're starting to pick it up. Now you're in first.
Yeah, I'm not sure where we are in the yards, but I know Harry's reached his capacity, and I know Jared's going to be holding on for life. So I'm just doing everything I can to keep the same stroke rate, keep the same breathing, get every little bit of ground that I can, especially on the turns. I know that if I push off that just a little bit harder, do a couple extra dolphin kicks, and I, don't breathe out of my turns, especially, I'm going to have just that little inches. Those are going to make a difference later on.
So right now you're still strategizing where you are in the pool and who's around you, and the strategy of the swimmers that are around you also. So you don't just strategize in the beginning of the race, you strategize and base your entire race throughout the entire race. Does that make sense? Yeah,
the entire time I'm strategizing and adjusting as necessary. I could be wrong, but this looks like this might be the very last lap.
I think so, yeah.
You want to laugh? I kind of missed the wall here. This is my absolute worst turn in my last 50. I recognized that on that turn. I'm like, oh crap, he's getting way ahead of me. I missed the wall. I gotta just kick as hard as I possibly can. And yeah, he finishes like 3 seconds ahead of me, shattering the old record.
Oh, he broke the record?
Going into it, I'm like, this is definitely someone's going to have to break this record in order to win this because of just how close we were to the previous conference record, myself and Lane and Harry and Jared all included.
Yeah.
But yeah, previous record 4:38.35. He broke it by almost 3 full seconds.
Wow.
I did not expect him being that fast. That very last 50 came out of nowhere, and
good for him. Yeah, but you messed up the turn. I mean, that happens to everybody too. I mean, you're an awesome swimmer. You're great, and you just missed the turn. And there's really nothing you can do about it.
I know. You got to swim your own race because coming to that last 25 especially, you can't you want to be aware, obviously. I'm like thinking, oh, Jared's moving pretty freaking fast. I got to pick it up here. But that was in my head as soon as I hit the wall, and I think that did affect it a little bit. Got to oh, well, I can't let that screw the whole race. Can't let this lap 25 just be, crap.
It's interesting how you strategize throughout the entire race. How important do you think it is to do your underwater kicking and all that during a 500? Does it change during a 500 and a 1650, which is a mile? Or do you pretty much, you base your 500 strategy along with your 1650 strategy, and your 1650 strategy just is a longer period of time?
I would say the 1650 is almost a carbon copy of what I do for the 500, just 10 to 20% less energy and less dolphin kicks, less underwaters, less stroke rate.
Yeah.
I think, I've got to have a lot more in the tank for a lot longer. I'm going to be here for 20 minutes, and I know what I have to do for the 500. I know how I have to pace that. If I can just extend each of those strokes just a little bit longer, if I can just do a couple more underwater dolphins and keep those consistent every single turn, it's going to pay off in the long run, especially around lap 45.
Yeah. So stroke rate, the speed of your stroke rate really isn't super important, I guess, in a 500 as it is in a 50 or 100. But I know that your pull underwater is likely different because you have to when you do your 500s and your 1650s, when you pull with your arm through the water, you're up a little bit higher to stay more streamlined, right?
Yeah, I want to make sure especially my old coach Mike used to talk about getting the most distance per stroke possible. So holding, this position as long as I possibly can, and until it makes sense not to. And in the 1650, it makes sense to just be on your side, pulling just a little bit longer, staying out a hair of a second longer per stroke. Makes a tremendous difference. And, if you're doing the 50, you want to be just spinning your arms as fast as you possibly can, really.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I want to go back to this, too, because I like how every one of you guys is focused on your race that you're going to be doing. No one's really talking. Everybody's focused in. I mean, you're stretching. You're really in the zone there. And everybody is. Here's Will. Will looks really – no, Will's here.
Yeah, Will, yep. Yeah, we all – well, this especially is this is our biggest meet of the year. We're all thinking we've done everything we can up until this point, and this was actually my last last college meet ever. So I knew that this had to be the most important. This is my race. If I don't make it count here, I'm not going to have another opportunity to again. So I got to be doing what I got to do to make this count.
You did good. You dropped time. I'm noticing here with the starts, this is Harry here, right?
Yep.
He's leaning forward past the blocks. You're leaning forward past the blocks. It looks like these two guys are. Here's Will. I can't really tell down there. But I just find it really interesting. It's important. A lot of the little things that we go over, that Teag and I go over with you guys on Sundays and during the week, it's important. And leaning forward on the block is important. So Harry and Teag, and it looks like this guy here, are all already winning the race in front of these guys that are here. Super, super, super important.
Yeah, the tiny, tiny details count. Especially when you're at a collegiate level, more so than high school meet, but distance races like this still get won or lost on that start.
Oh yeah.
You can see like lane 7 and 8. or lane 1. In fact, he's
Yeah.
like Harry's almost in streamline position. I'm getting into streamline because I know I got to enter in streamline as quickly as I can. And
Yeah, but look at that. Harry looks good. Everybody, yeah. See, his start isn't really that great. Will looks good. You look good. You got really far out.
well, I'm
Look
like,
at you enter the water, man. That's perfect.
thanks. Yeah, Harry's way ahead though. Well, at least on the start.
Yeah, he's got an interesting thing going on there.
The whole time I pretty much, well, I listen to a lot of different music, but I try to just keep a single song or 2 songs going until, to distract myself from the exhaustion, because it gets pretty exhausting. Not really until lap 10, but especially when you get to lap 10 and you recognize, hey, this is starting to hurt. You got to just get back into the zone, play that song over and over and go,
Oh, yeah.
I'm almost there. I can't let anything get in my way now. Got to stay focused.
I notice how you guys are all right in the center of the lane the entire time, and your stroke rate pretty much remains consistent. So, just a couple more questions for you. How do you prepare for races like this? When you're at practice, does the distance swimmers stay in their own lanes, or do you do any extra work, or what type of dry land do you do if you do any dry land? Like, how do you prepare for a race like this?
Well, typically, so this past season for this meet specifically, I prepared unlike any other that I have before. And by that I mean we didn't actually do much dry land at all. We were swimming every single chance we got. I didn't lift too often. Every Tuesday and Thursday morning I was swimming. Every afternoon I'd be swimming, and I knew that with distance, you really just have to be obsessed with swimming, because it's going to make a lot more sense to be stronger and powerful for the 50 and the 100. And with distance, you really just got to know how to swim for a long, 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 long time when you're tired. Distance kids, we do have our own lanes, and we do something significantly different from most of the other swimmers. While the rest of the pool is doing like 50s and 100s and 200s, we're doing like 500 repeats and 250 fast, a 250 sprint, another 250 fast.
So when you practice, do you do any sprinting at practice?
Not what you would consider sprinting. I do fast 300s and fast 400s and 500s per time.
Gotcha. And then do you change your diet? Like this was a big meet for you. So before any of the big meets, do you change your diet at all a couple days before, or you just eat whatever you eat?
I don't change my diet, but I try to keep it consistent throughout the season. I'm always making sure I'm eating a lot of protein, vegetables, fruits. I love fruit. I might have overdone it in high school. Actually, I would eat like 15 servings of fruit a day and not too much else. But I also try to make sure I stay as hydrated as I possibly can. At this meet, I think I have like between 8 and 10 bottles of water just while at the meet. Try to make sure I'm drinking water pretty consistently during the day also.
So you don't drink water? Or you drink water? You don't drink like Gatorade and all that stuff? It's just water?
I do drink Gatorade occasionally, but water's the go-to. So I usually drink Gatorade, like especially after a meet like this, right after the race, just because your heart's beating so fast and you gotta like calm yourself down. I've been told that having sugar in your blood helps with that.
Yeah. Just like a couple minutes more, do you want to go through the girls' event quick and just kind of pick things out so the girls who are going to watch the video, hopefully, watch our video?
Yeah.
Because I don't know if the girls strategize different than the boys, or the women strategize differently than the men do. I'm not really sure. Let me get back. Go back to here. All right, so this is the girls getting ready. And again, this one's not paying attention. She's waving to her friends. But
well, some people got to do different stuff. I don't really recommend that. Well, I think she's like waving to her fan section or her family, but
probably. Is this Will over here in his blue suit?
That looks like him. Yeah, I
Could
can't
be.
be certain, but it does look
Can't
like him.
tell. I'm just saying that he's tired still from doing a 500, and he's on the deck still trying to recover. And that's important too. Even when you guys do a 50 or a 100 or a 500 or a 1650, you have to be completely exhausted. Like I tell you, got to feel like you got hit by a train when you get done.
Yeah, if you can hop out and run over your coach and go, "Hey, how'd I do, coach? What was that?" The answer is already, you've still got too much energy.
Yeah, exactly.
Not you could have taken it out faster. You could have been faster in the middle. You could have finished faster. If you're not completely wiped out, something else should have happened in the pool.
Yeah, because your energy is going to come back. All your energy is going to come back, and a win or a loss is going to stay there forever. So I look at it.
That time is not going to change regardless of how you hit the wall or when you hit the wall. It's going to change when you hit the wall. I mean, it's not going to matter if you are trying to look as you're touching. You can touch, be exhausted, catch your breath for a moment, and then turn around. Yeah. 438. That's pretty good. I'm glad I kept my head down.
Yeah, really. All these girls have their heads in there. I think all these girls look good with their starts. They're all leaning forward. Do you know, are any of the girls here in the event after yours, are they from Albright?
None in this heat, but there's a second heat, and
you want to go to that one?
No, but I'm not certain.
We'll just watch this one.
All right. They changed the meet lineup a little bit this year, so we have another team added to our conference, so there's more heats of each event.
I think Will told me about that. Yeah, look, Will's still over there. Is that your coach? Is that John right there? Could be.
That's not John, which is leading me to believe that it's
not Will.
I know that after the 500, John was on this side over here where you see red shirt and khakis and.
Oh, he's wearing a red shirt for Albright colors, I guess.
I know John's wearing a red shirt. This is not John, but I know John is near the guy in the maroon.
Gotcha. John's a good coach. I've heard a lot of good things about John.
John's an excellent coach. He knows how to make swimmers.
Yeah. So can you pick anything out real quick, like for the last minute or two? I don't know, anything about what these girls do. I mean, this girl's really cranking. She's way out. She's either that fast or what's up with that? I mean, why would she be out so far?
I think her race strategy probably accounts for the girls in lane 4 and 5 and 6, because obviously the middle of the pool is where you want to be, and she recognizes that the other girls are going to be pretty consistent the rest of the way, and if she can get out ahead and get some clear water, she's going to be able to just leave them behind come the last many laps. I think looks like they're only at lap 7, but
yeah. So she has a totally different strategy than you have. Your strategy is to stay with the lead group, and her strategy is to just take off and get some clear water between her and the rest of the group.
Would look like it, yeah. I got to be honest, don't remember who wins this heat, but if I had to guess just looking at the first half, I'd say that she's got the right strategy. She knows that she's going to win at this point already.
That's lap 7, 17. Yeah, look, she's still way out there.
Yeah. At this point, she's got half a lap on everyone. She knows from the get-go, lanes 4 and 5 are going to pace off each other, and that if she could get good 2 or 3 body lengths ahead of them, that it would make the difference significantly off each turn. And come lap 17, she's destined to win at this point.
I have a good question for you. You probably have the same questions too with the swimmers that you coach on Sundays and other times. When some swimmers, when they do distance, even when they do 200s, which really isn't a distance, they seem to have a different stroke rate with each arm. You can kind of see it here with her. It seems like she's, maybe just because of the way she's breathing, but it looks like she pulls faster with one arm than the other arm. She kind of swims like this. It's kind of hard to explain.
Like a gallop stroke?
Yeah, exactly. Like a gallop stroke. So apparently there's a term for it. I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, I used to do that myself. I've been working to eliminate that from my race, but that's really an exhausted swimmer technique. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're really just focused on moving your arms as fast as you can and still trying to get air as fast as you can. So whatever arm you breathe to, your focus is really just on getting that arm out faster and letting whatever the left. For me, I only breathe to my right. For the left, you just keep it moving as it needs to, but the right's got to be up and over as quick as you can.
So you mentioned breathing a lot. Do you do any breathing workouts or any kind of breathing training at all? Because I always tell the kids too, and I think I've heard you say it. I would like to see them say the alphabet, take a big breath of air, and give as many alphabets as they possibly can when they're home at least, or they're not in the pool. And then if they can get 4 alphabets halfway through, the next day they can get maybe 4 alphabets 3/4 of the way through, and they can build their lung capacity that way.
Well, I wasn't familiar with that strategy, but we do similar stuff. Not similar stuff. We do breathing technique in the water. We usually I always, for regular sets that don't have any breathing pattern to them, I'll try and hold 4 breaths or 1 breath every 4 strokes until that becomes inefficient, or I feel like I need more air. Then it becomes every other stroke. But for breathing sets that are like based around how frequently you're supposed to be breathing, you will do like every 3, every 5, every 7, every 9, and just try and maintain that. Like do 1 lap breathing every 3rd stroke, do 1 lap breathing every 5th stroke, and you really learn to work those walls, because you want to get to the other wall as fast as you can and be breathing.
Work the walls. You can win races at the wall. I tell everybody that doesn't matter if you're a sprinter or a distance swimmer. You got to win races at the wall in the start. I know I keep saying this, but this is the last question, I promise.
All right.
So because the majority of swimmers that we work with are teenagers or even younger than that, 10-year-olds and 11, 12, just getting into swimming, 200s and 500s and that type of thing. What do you tell them when you're coaching them on Sundays? Because I know you work with a couple of them specifically for distance. What do you work on with them? What's the most important thing to really do well at as you're starting your career, I guess, as a distance swimmer?
I'd say distance per stroke, maintaining a consistent stroke rate, as many laps in a row as we can. So if you're doing a 200, you want to obviously be moving your arms a good bit faster than you would for a 500. But if you're doing a 500, I try and make sure I tell all my swimmers, count how many strokes you did that lap. Now, that was, say, 15, for example. We can probably do the same lap in the same amount of time with 14 or 13. Let's try and do that. And then from there, progressively get to, all right, let's do a 50, and we only take 14 each, 25, and see how that time is. And now let's, add on top of it.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I think this is good for our Tier 1 swimmers to watch, because, all these swimmers are good. This is the championship meet, and to get the boys and the girls that we swim with that are 10 to 15 years old to just start out as distance swimmers, that's important stuff. I don't want to just jump over to what these guys are doing, like what you do. She's doing a Gallop stroke here, too. She was also way behind before. Anyway, I could go on and on and on. I love watching racing and swimming racing. It's totally different. When you watch distance, it's just as exciting, I think, as it is when you watch a 50 freestyle. Because you really don't know what's going to happen.
I would say that's the same for, I would say that about maybe my smoke alarm's going off. Rock quit making eggs. I would say that's the case for the 500 and the 50, not so much the 1650. The 1650, I think, it's pretty excruciating to watch.
Oh, it's a long way. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
1650 is a long way.
Everyone's excited at the starter. Yeah, go. The first 2 laps, everyone's energy's high. Everyone's cheering.
Yeah.
And lap
this guy's still cheering.
We're like, oh, they're still swimming.
Oh, God, they're still in the water.
And we're not even playing.
That's funny. All right, so I think we touched on a lot of different things. This guy's pretty excited here. Look at how excited he is. They're all excited.
Yeah. Well, it's the 500. He can be excited for 20 laps a lot easier than you can be for 66.
Yeah, that's a long way to go. All right, so guys, you know the deal. If you have any videos or if you have any questions that you want us to put up on YouTube, text them to me, or you can email them to me, or just make some comments on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. Teague makes fun of me for. Well, did you make fun of me, or was that somebody else? Because I do TikTok videos also.
Yeah, you're a little too old to be doing TikToks, Russ.
Yeah, I know I am. It's fun though. I'm doing a
Fair.
push-up one now. I'm going to try to do 50 push-ups in 30 seconds and see who can match it. Mm-hmm.
Good luck.
Yeah, I got to 47 the other day, so I didn't post it. I'm not going to post it until I get up to 50.
Oh yeah, you got that. That's just a little more distance per stroke.
That's hard. Yeah, a little more distance per stroke. So anyway, that's it. We're probably going to talk about breaststroke maybe next week. We have some IM work we're going to do maybe the end of this week or maybe next week. Also, I'm not really sure of that. But anyway, that is it. If anybody has any questions for Teague on distance, post them up on YouTube underneath as a comment. And Teague can answer as many questions, or I can answer as many questions as you'd like. Hopefully the pool will open up soon. We'll be back at the pool. We can all get back into what we're doing. What?
Love hearing from you guys. Love your questions. Keep swimming.
Yeah. All right, guys. See you later. All right, Teague, just hang on. I'm just going to stop the recording. Bye.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.